All right, guys. I said before this game that all I knew was that we needed a win. We needed the W, and we got it. Question we have to ask ourselves now is, was it worth it? Because this was not a pleasant game. This was not a pleasant watching experience for anybody, but especially for fans of the teams that were actually playing. So everyone will have to decide for themselves how they feel. For me personally, I understand that we won. I don't feel bad like I would have had we lost, but it doesn't feel like a normal win. So, before I get into the finer details of all that, let's go ahead and run down the actual action of the game because there was some good stuff out there. Defense. Look, we gave up 3 scoring drives in this game, 2 touchdowns, a field goal. I'm sorry, 2 of those drives were bullshit. Multiple crap-ass penalties on third down, keeping those drives alive. Arizona should not have scored any points in the first 59 minutes of this game. I'm not going to hold that against the defense at all. The defense played well enough to keep Arizona from sniffing points when the game was in question, and they were trying to screw us. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I just had to watch that for 60 minutes. I'm agitated. First offensive drive of the game for the Seahawks, or second drive, Tyler Lockett clearly interfered with in the end zone. Referee standing right there, no flag. Meanwhile, Shaquille Griffin can't make a play on the ball when he's defending Larry Fitzgerald on third down without drawing a flag. I think Arizona had like 6 first downs by penalty total in this game, and almost all of them on third down. So yeah, I'm going to start there. Defense gave up 6 points tonight. They gave up 16, but we watched this game. We all know they really gave up 6, and those 6 were in practically garbage time. So we shut down the run. Adrian Peterson was a net negative out there. He gave them nothing except a fumble on his first play of the game. Granted, I will admit this. Drew Stanton is terrible, and a good quarterback would have gotten a little more out there. He had multiple opportunities to hit open receivers. John Brown streaking down the sideline with an opportunity to make a play. J.J. Nelson just, overthrowing these guys. Yeah, I'll give the defense that. The defense against a good, competent NFL quarterback, it would have been a little worse. But the defense, at the end of the day, you hold Arizona to 16 points. 10 of those points are crap, and the rest of them are garbage time. I like my defense a lot, and it was nice to see them perform like that after last week when your confidence would have been a little shaken in them after they blew the end of the game. Now, that's the good stuff. They performed well, but there are troubling signs on that side of the ball too. I don't know why this defensive line doesn't get more pressure than they do. Tonight, it was okay. Deion Jordan had a sack. Nazir Jones had a sack. There were some pressures by Freeney. There were some almost plays by Brandon Jackson. These guys are among the most talented defensive linemen in the NFL. Michael Bennett has played, Michael Bennett's never going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that, but he's played like one for the last several years for these Seahawks, and sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. Frank Clark, I didn't hear anything good from Frank Clark tonight. So week after week, this defensive line, they fall short of expectations, and against a better quarterback tonight, it would have hurt us badly. We were lucky we were playing Drew Stanton. But what they did tonight was good enough, so props to that side of the ball. Offense, we scored a touchdown in the first quarter. Progress. We got a drive. We got the ball with like 40 seconds left in the first half. We drove down. We got into field goal range, kicked a field goal. Every little bit helps. The 3 points was a big deal at that point in the game. We had a big drive to pretty much put the game away in the fourth quarter. Made a couple of big plays, converting, second and long or third and long or whatever it was. There were some promising things out there, but at the same time, 22 points against this defense, it's questionable, man. Doug Baldwin, legit. Russell Wilson played solid. There was one period in this game where I think he might have kind of sort of had a concussion, and he was not seeing things the way he normally does for a handful of plays, but then he finished out the game pretty strong, so I don't really know what to say about that. But he was probably the player of the game. Doug, J.D. McKissick, I was going to say J.D. McKissick, nice game by him. Jimmy Graham, that is how you do it. Jimmy Graham is not going to be the explosive 150-yard receiver he was on the Saints, but he can do that, and he's got to keep doing that. 6 catches and 2 touchdowns. I know the yards aren't there, but I will take that from my tight end any day of the week. So that's the game. Offense was all right. Offense showed me a few things that I liked. And I'm probably singing a totally different tune if Tyler Lockett draws that pass interference flag that he deserved to draw on that first quarter drive. That might have completely changed the way this game played out. Special teams. Pretty good. Blair Walsh made both of his kicks, made all of his extra points. John Ryan put on a punting clinic for most of this game. Special teams was actually pretty big tonight. And in a game that ended up being fairly close, it's all important. Now, that's the game. The game was good. The game, we won by 6. We were favored by 6 by the Vegas lines. We gave up basically a garbage time touchdown that I'm not even sweating. Thursday Night Football, I mean, it had been a while since I'd seen the Seahawks play a game on Thursday Night Football. It's been, they played in a Thursday Night Football game last year. That was the last time. This sucks, guys, because on both sides of the ball, you saw players dropping every 5 minutes. And some of it looked pretty insignificant. Sheldon Richardson got hurt a couple times. He came back in pretty quickly. Nazir Jones got hurt, came back in later, got a sack. Doug Baldwin looked like he pulled his groin, but he was right back in the game. So we escaped in some regards, but let's start small. CJ Prosise will probably never suit up for the Seattle Seahawks again. He got hurt again tonight. It's just not working, people. It's not working. He can't play football. He doesn't have whatever it is that allows players to play football without getting hurt every other play. For his own sake, I don't want him to suit up for the Seahawks ever again. I want him to retire and enjoy his life. Who else? Jerron Reed missed most of this game. Hopefully he'll be ready for next week. We do have basically 11 days off. Thank the Lord. Dwayne Brown, left tackle, missed over half of this game with a leg injury. Crossing my fingers that he can come back next week when we play Atlanta. I don't need to be dealing with that right now. We make a trade for a good left tackle. He plays really good for us over a game and a half, and then he's just gone like that. I need something to give me a little bit of optimism going forward. I have a feeling he'll be back sooner rather than later, but that was not cool. But we got hit with the big one tonight, people. Richard Sherman, he's been nursing an injured Achilles for most of the season. Finally caught up with him. Routine-looking play. Nobody hit him. Nothing really weird happened. He just went down, and as of this video recording, we don't know for sure, but he seemed very convinced that he tore his Achilles, and that would mean he's out for the season. Guys, we had a Super Bowl roster before this game started. Even with what happened last week, even the bull crap of that Washington game, I think we had a Super Bowl caliber roster. Now we don't. Richard Sherman was our number one cornerback. He shut down an entire side of the field. He was the elite of the elite at cornerback. Still, some people were saying he's fallen off. Some people were saying he wasn't as good as he used to be. No, that dude was having a great season, and just like that, it's over. I felt for him. I know a lot of fans of other teams hate Richard Sherman more than about anyone else in the league. And if you hate Richard Sherman, that's fine. You probably, a lot of you people watching this probably do, but I felt so bad for him standing on the sideline for the rest of that game, trying to cheer the team on, watching him win, watching a secondary that had a rookie, a guy we just tried to trade and failed his physical, and a guy we picked up right before the season started trying to hold down the cornerback spots. It's really tough for me to believe this is going to be a Super Bowl team because the defensive line is not holding up their end of the bargain in a lot of these games. And the secondary we were leaning heavily on the secondary, just shutting opposing wide receivers down. And now we're asking an awful lot of players who are not of that caliber. So yeah, guys, this sucks. All I can say now is that, first of all, over the last 7 games of the year, we're going to need to see a big step up from the defensive line. We're going to need constant pressure on opposing quarterbacks. That's the only way. We can mask the struggles of the secondary. Assuming we still have Earl and Cam out there, we can make it work, at least decently. But gone are the days of having possibly the best defense in the NFL. That feels like it's out the window right now. We just need our defensive line to step it up and start getting some pressure. And more than that, Russell Wilson, go for 4,000 yards, man. Go for it. Go for 40 touchdown passes. Go for it all. That's the only way we're going to win a lot of games this year. He needs to go off in a way that we have only seen him go off once before in his life. Like I said, those 7 games in 2015 where he was the best player in football. We need it again. And beyond that, another 12 penalties tonight. I'll say this, 4 or 5 of them were bullshit. The other 7, they're still helping us lose. So we don't have something to fall back on anymore. In the past, we've been able to get away with having a lot of penalties because we had so much talent. That talent is starting to dwindle. It dwindled by a significant amount with Sherman being out. For all we know, Jerron Reed, Dwayne Brown, we don't know when these guys are going to be back. So we have to make up for it by cleaning up the penalties. Again, 4 or 5 of them tonight. Complete bullshit. The league should be embarrassed. But the other 7, other 8, got to knock it off. So yeah, we've had a good run of Thursday night football games this year, but tonight, Arizona had a ton of injuries tonight too. Tyvon Branch looks like he's probably out for the season. DJ Humphries looks like he's out for the significant amount of time. Makes you wonder about Thursday night football. At least if you're me, it does. So, I don't know. Maybe if I say anything right now, it sounds like sour grapes. But let's have a conversation on why we need Thursday night football. Because can't help but wonder if maybe some of these guys just didn't have long enough to heal. All right. Proud of the boys for getting the win. But the ceiling just came down pretty hard. Only good news, we got 11 games before our next game, and that's probably another must-win game too, but let's see what kind of troops we even have. Alright, I'm going to be streaming Resident Evil 4 tonight, and if you guys want to come in and, you can talk to me, I'll talk back, and glad for the long week off.